Irrespective of the fact that we say you need to be consistent in what you do, do not make the mistake of being consistent on the wrong path. Hi guys, welcome to our Monday Motivation, and I trust you've learned so much over the times we have brought informative content to you. My name again is Moses Waribo, and this is Think Tank TV. Today I want to treat the topic I titled Mistakes Small and Young Entrepreneurs Make. When you're a young person, when you're quite small, you've not gotten to the top, there are a series of mistakes you can make that can hamper or hinder your advancement to a greater future. So when I was younger than this, there's a challenge I often faced. The challenge was the dilemma of what exactly to do. You would agree with me that a creative mind often faces the challenge. Why? Because your mind is so open and active. Your mind is often going to be bumped with a series of ideas and a series of things that can obviously get you engaged and get you moving. That reminds me of the interview that was done to Mark Zuckerberg, and an interviewer asked him some time ago, as a young entrepreneur, what is most important? What can we put in all of our time into? What should we concentrate on? The first word he said was focus. Focus. You see, one of the most important currencies you must have as a young person is your time and your focus. Why? As a young person, I've taught it on this channel over the times of the importance of concentrating your energy, which is what I called definiteness of purpose. Assume that as a young person you have 100% concentration ability. And if you put in your 100% concentration ability into any particular business, you're going to have a 100% result. Now, take for instance, you begin to diversify your attention, your energy, and your ability into 3 different endeavors, 3 different business ideas. What will ultimately happen to you? The thing that would happen, what will happen to you is that the concentration, your energy is going to be divided into those 3 things, which is going to make you have a result of about 30%. So the bone of contention here is, as a young person, one of the most important things you must do is to focus. Be very focused until you have a gateway. What is a gateway? When you read through the autobiography of great men, they tell you that majority of them always concentrated on one thing and one business. Soon as they have the gateway, what happens? They gain access to resources, they gain access to finance, they gain access to ability, they gain access to contacts that they can now leverage on to do other kinds of business. So here's what you need to know. You recall the cliche that says, a jack of all trades, master of none. Don't fall into the mistakes of doing many things at the same time, especially when you are a young and a small entrepreneur. Concentrate your energy on one thing. But there's one thing we talk about. We talk about the someday shelf. I tell people about the someday shelf like I do. Sometimes ideas still come to me. What I do is I have a shelf where I keep as my someday shelf. I keep those ideas there, and if those ideas over the times keep nagging at me, if it keeps knocking on my door, like making me remember them often and on, then I believe that there's some viable content in them. I can look into it after many years. But at the beginning stage of my business, I do my best to do what? Concentrate on my business. So another mistake that young entrepreneurs make is what we call lack of one of the most important character traits: self-belief, self-confidence. When you lack self-confidence, you're definitely not going to make it to the top. We teach people around that one of the most vital things an entrepreneur, especially a young one at that, must have is self-belief. Why do you need self-belief? Why? Because things are obviously going to go awful. There's going to be times when you're going to have a negative energy. There's going to be times when you're going to have emotional issues and things that would make you to want to lose concentration. When you have self-belief, when you have self-esteem, when you have resilience, obviously, even at your downtimes, you're still going to understand that you need to keep pushing. Just like I heard from one of the words of my mentors, he said, even when it looks like you're not going to make it, when it looks like things are not working out, when it looks like you want to give up, what you need to do is keep going. So you need self-belief in what you're doing. You need self-belief in your business. And one of the major mistakes we make is, most of us who are young entrepreneurs, we have this ego, right? I used to have it as well. Majority of the times we have our initial hypothesis of issues, our initial hypothesis and plans of businesses, the way we think it should go. But when we move on to some stages in that business, we realize that obviously the way we planned it, the way we thought it's going to come out, it didn't turn out that way. What does ego do to you? Ego tells you that you should keep pushing in that same direction without having a reconsideration to the plans and the hopes you had. Here's where humility comes in. You must be humble enough as a young entrepreneur to know that your initial hypothesis of that business perhaps was not the way it ought to be. But one of the mistakes most of us do is we keep pushing. We say increase the publicity. We say keep going, keep pushing. Yes, you need to increase the publicity, but you must go back to realize that perhaps one of the hypotheses and strategies I had outlined is not exactly what it should be. One mistake small and young entrepreneurs make is asking for mentorship wrongly. Now, we all know the importance of mentorship in businesses, right? But a lot of people indulge wrongly. What you need to understand is the person you wish to become a mentor to you is actually very busy. Long ago, I was running for a political office and I had a feel of what it takes to run for a political office. Boy, my phone was always busy. I was always picking up calls. In fact, the calls came into to an extent where I often missed calls from people that were even dead to me. I wish they knew what I was going through. That is the point I really realized that majority of the people we call mentors, the majority of the people we want to be like, actually have a challenge of time. So what you want to do is when you want to have a person as a mentor, you must realize some things. First of all, put yourself in the person's shoe. How busy do you think they are? What do they actually want at that point? What could you say that could make them release what is most precious to them, which is their time? Now, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can actually have the attention of a person you want to be a mentor to you. Now, a lot of you will go back to their DMs to want to send them messages on their DM, but that may actually not be the best place to engage. Why? Because they've got tons of DMs. They've got people DMing them, thousands of DMs coming into their phone lines. So you don't want to join yourself in this traffic. What you need to do is go back and check the areas where they perhaps have better attention for people, for their audiences. It could be Twitter, it could be Instagram, it could be different, it could be their podcast comment sections. So what you want to do is to find out the best area where you can gain their attention. So let's assume you've gotten their attention. You need to realize 4 things. The first of them is their ego. You want to massage their ego to realize that, yes, I realize that you have no time, but by all means, I want to get across to you, which I'm going to give you an example. You want to massage their ego. You want to have an empathy of the fact that they are so busy, they have no time. And you want to engage them in a way where they realize that you are actually not coming for something in return. And then you want to also let them know that whatever they want to do for you is going to have a benefit on them. I'll give you an instance. You have the attention of a would-be mentor, right? You need to send a message that sounds this way to your would-be mentor. I know you have absolutely no time. I am Moses Waribo, and I'm 33 years old. And this is an instance, by the way. One day, I hope to build a business like you because I've listened to your podcasts. It would literally be my dream to feature in one of your podcasts. And I promise I would say no word. My friend is a blogger, and I hope to feature the podcast on one of his blogs. What have you done? You've succeeded in massaging his ego by letting him know that you know he is absolutely very busy. You've succeeded in also getting the empathy of making him feel you've been following him, making him feel you understand what he's doing, making him feel you're indeed very interested in what he does. And you've also made him know that whatever you're requesting from him, you have no intention to get a reward from it. And the fourth thing you made him know is that you're going to make him have an extended reach, which is he's going to have a reward for whatever he does for you. I believe that this way you'll be able to have the attention of a would-be mentor rather than just throwing messages at them that makes them feel that you're a lazy person, you've got nothing to bring to the table, you have no interest in what they do, and you're obviously going to be a minus to their time. So another mistake young and small entrepreneurs make is consistently working on the wrong paths, consistently working on the wrong project. Yes, I get the bit of being consistent at a project because we talk about it a lot of the times. But the question you must ask yourself is, I'm consistent on a project. Am I consistent on the right project? I told you one of the major challenges that most young entrepreneurs have is the issue of ego. We have an ego of always believing that what we do is right. Recall I said we should believe in ourselves. Yes, that is very valid. But one thing you must ask yourself as a young entrepreneur is this: do you enjoy what you do? Because if you do not enjoy what you do, there are tendencies that you're going to throw in the towel one of the days. If you do not enjoy what you're doing, there are tendencies that you're going to often procrastinate at what you do. Why? Because you do not enjoy it. You're going to end up doing shitty jobs. You're going to end up showing up late for what you do. Why? Because you do not enjoy what you're doing. So, irrespective of the fact that we say you need to be consistent in what you do not make the mistake of being consistent on the wrong path. If you're consistent on the wrong path, you're going to get tired easily. If you're consistent on doing what you do not like, you're going to get tired easily. Why? Because at the initials of a business, you may not be having any revenue, you may not be having any return. And this is the point when, if you love what you're doing, you're still going to be having a back-end advantage, a validation of your initial process. You may be validating, you may be getting better by the day. Let's assume for this podcast I'm doing right now, I do not have as much views as I expect. One of the advantages I know I would have from this podcast is that I'm going to gradually become a better person at what I do. And let's say I need 100% to become the best at producing a podcast like this. And I'm doing a podcast, one podcast every week. It means in 100 weeks, I'm going to be at 100, at my best to 100. So the advantage I'm going to be having from this podcast is that I am going to be having a validation of my initial process. I'm going to be becoming better by the week. I'm going to be having the advantage of becoming a better person by the week. Now, this is one of the major challenges that young people have, working consistently on the wrong project. Why? Because no matter how long you've gone on a path of your project, if you find out that the project you're doing or the thing you find yourself doing is not what you should be doing, the best time to stop it is now. Why? Because no matter how long you move on the wrong path, it's not going to take you to your destination. So realize that consistently working on a wrong project or on a wrong path is a mistake that young entrepreneurs can make. And this is why we bring this content to you, to let you know that you need to realize by using these litmus tests we've given to you to check if you're on the right path. If you're on the right path, great, you can consistently keep doing what you're doing. But if you're on the wrong path, it's advisable that you do well to stop and review yourself, review your feedback, review your outcome, review your interest, review all these things to realize that you are on the wrong track. I like you to engage in what we do here. I like you to throw questions at the comment section. I like you to do well to also send us messages on what you think about what we're doing. Tell us topics you like us to treat, and we're going to be here to serve you. My name is Moses Waribo, and this is Think Tank TV. Do well to subscribe. Subscribe to our station. Subscribing to our station doesn't cost anything. It only helps you to know when we put out contents like this. Subscribe and turn on the notification button. I love you guys so much. For all those who have been following us for a long time, we appreciate you. Those who have subscribed, those who have not subscribed, those who have watched our videos consistently, we do not take it lightly. We truly appreciate what you do for us. Thank you so much.